How has the Lord pursued me? Well, the Lord started pursuing me when I was very young. I remember junior high school as a latchkey kid with working parents. I used to sneak over to the church after school. I went to Sublimity, so the church was right there. It was always unlocked. So I could go over after school. I would go and sit in the church and just smell, and I didn't really realize I was praying at the time, but I think I was. But the church was beautiful, just the statues, the smell. I just loved being in the church. My parents didn't go to church, even though I was baptized Catholic. I had to ask for First Communion from my parents, and lovingly they agreed. But I was raised in a Catholic community, so I was able to make friends who were Catholic, and I would ask to spend the night with them on Saturday nights so that I could go to Mass on Sundays. I also was able to choose where I wanted to go to high school, and I felt very called to go to Regis as a Catholic school. I had a great desire to go there, but my parents said, well, you have to pay your own way. So knowing that, I worked really hard to pay my way to go to school there. And anyway, as the journey continues, I married a wonderful Catholic man, and when I was a young mom, a tired young mom, and I know some of you know that feeling. I had I think 5, a 3, and a 1-year-old. I had a husband who worked a lot and traveled a lot and was not home very often. And one particular night, I was ready to leave. I was done, and I'd lost myself. I was just tired. I had my hand on the door, and it was 9:30 at night. The kids were sleeping, and Mike was gone, and I was ready to leave. And this voice said, "Kelly, take a shower." And I literally looked up. I mean, I felt like it was kind of a godly voice. Where is that coming from? It was very loving, but very firm. And I heard it again, "Kelly, take a shower." And I thought, well, that's a really good idea. I'm ready to leave. I don't even have my purse, so I probably should get a change of clothes and get my purse and take a shower. I have no idea where I was going. And so I was finishing the shower, and I heard a voice, same voice, say, "Kelly, go to bed." And this is where I got stubborn and said, no, I've got to leave. You know, I have to leave before my husband gets home. I hadn't even thought about the kids sleeping in the next room, for heaven's sake. But anyway, I heard the voice again that said, "Kelly, go to bed." So I did, was obedient to that, and I didn't see my husband. He came home late and left early, and it's about 9 in the morning. The phone rang, and there was a woman on the other end of the phone. I'd only met her twice, probably. She was the wife of a man that I worked with, a little bit older than me, I think, about the same age. And she said, "I don't know if you remember me, and I know this is going to sound really weird, but God told me to call you today. And I just want to know if you're okay." I just started crying. I just was weeping, and she calmed me down. We talked, and she said, "You know, Kelly, there's a spiritual battle going on in your home and in your marriage, and you really need to battle that. So here's some things you can do." Lovely Christian woman, Protestant woman, and one of the things she told me to do was turn on K-Love, the Christian radio station. I'd never heard of it. And turned on the radio in my house, in my car, and just those words in a lot of that music ministered to me. And that was kind of the start of my journey and him pursuing me. A couple years later, still struggling with my marriage and being a mom, I was phone rang, and I was struggling with a lot of back pain and just general, mom struggles. And a woman that I did know actually called me, and she said, "Kelly, I don't know why I'm calling you today, but God told me to call you." And I'd heard those words before. So I literally sat down on the closest chair that I could find, and she said, "Tell me what's going on." And so I just tried to tell her, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired of being a mom. My back hurts, wah, wah." Anyway, after chatting with her for a while, I really didn't want to divulge that I was having marital problems and that I was depressed, and I didn't want to share that with her. But she said, I know what you need to do. You need to go to a healing mass. And I said, no way, because I was just thinking about people, being slain in the spirit, laying all over the ground, and I was like, no. And anyway, she was very loving and firm and talked me into going, told me she'd help me find a babysitter, the whole bit. So I went. It was at St. Mary's Shaw. Father Taff at the time had invited a priest in. And I was very nervous, but I had a really good confession prior to Mass. During the Holy Mass, I saw Our Lady in the corner very briefly, but I just felt really at peace with the Mass, but still nervous. When it was my turn for the healing, I remember walking up and just being terrified, but closing my eyes, and I felt some rustling behind me. The priest came up to me, and he smelled amazing. Oh, just the most amazing smell. I thought, wow, this man has a great cologne, right? And so all was said and done, and I just kind of felt I felt like my chest was glowing, really. Had a beautiful Mass, and after I wanted to smell that smell again, right? And maybe ask him where he got his cologne. So I knew Father Taff well, so I went to the sacristy and went to introduce myself to this visiting priest and thank him, and doggone it if he didn't smell. Anyway, I was very disappointed, but super nice guy. The next 3 nights were very troublesome and dark for me. I was fasting and praying, and the 3rd night, I had a really vivid dream, and it smelled like the smell I had smelled in the church that night. And the dream was about the Garden of Eden. It was the most beautiful smell I'd ever smelled in my life, and I've never smelled it since. So I woke up that morning and realized that I had no back pain. I felt amazing, and thinking about it, a lot of people don't know this, but I'd been on an antidepressant for about a year, and I'd forgotten to take it over the course of those 3 days. And you're not supposed to stop cold turkey, right? So I had no side effects, and I've never had to go on since. So the healing of that night was profound, but also just my heart and my soul were healed in a lot of different ways. And so he kept pursuing me and showing me where he wanted me to go. And that started really the deeper conversion of things that were to come. Recently, over the course of the last year, I've had some health problems. And last spring, I was faced with a possible diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. And those 2 weeks of waiting after the test, and probably many of you know this feeling, was super intense, and literally brought me to my knees. I mean, I'm always on my knees really, but it really took me to a deeper level. I really had to either decide to trust God and His will for me or not. And those 14 days, actually it was more like 18 or 19, because I remember praying 2 9-day novenas. Actually, it was the same novena for 18 days, so that's about how long it took, but maybe just a little bit shorter. But that novena was the Surrender to Jesus novena, and just allowing Him to take control, and I surrendered everything to Him, and knowing that He would take care of it. And so it was pretty profound for me to be able to let go and just trust in His will for me. My faith is important to me because of what I've been through from my 20s and early 30s through now, and especially through this illness, whatever I have. My faith is important to me because it's all that I have. I mean, I really have to trust him because we have life and we have death, and I trust his will for me. And I wouldn't really necessarily have that, I don't think, if it wasn't for my own personal desire, but I think that's the Spirit working, is me wanting to pursue God. I mean, I want to know him better, and I have put myself in situations where, I can get to know him better, whether it's Mass or a women's conference or Holy Hour or a rosary or just walking in nature. I have to trust in him. I mean, that's all I have. I don't know how someone does it if they don't. But some people can just have it, and some people have to work to find it. And it's about you peeling back the layers with God and finding out who you really are and really trusting his will for you. For me, it's been little things all along in my life, being drawn to the church after school, or agreeing to listen to Christian music that I'd never listened before, or going to a healing Mass, or positioning myself with women who had a faith life that I desired. It's always me searching and being pliable and opening up to what God has in store for me, and not just sitting back and letting it happen. I like I said before, I'm having to pursue him. I know he's pursuing me harder, but I'm having to pursue him too. So I have to take the time to study, to get to know who Jesus really is. And I mean, I can go to Mass on Sunday and I can believe that he's present in the Eucharist, but I'll tell you what, I haven't been able to receive the Eucharist since October. And when I sit in Mass, I am choosing to be there. It's my choice. But I really believe that he's present. And if he's present and I'm in his presence, the grace is just going to overflow. So I would really encourage you to really just look at your life and how you can spend time with Jesus. And yeah, you're busy, things are coming at you all directions, but man, when you're faced with life and death situations, or major trauma, or a sick child, whatever it is, you have a choice. And God is so big and he's so good, and he just wants the best, for all of us. And but we have to pursue him too, and we have to truly believe. If we're sitting in that church and we profess our faith and we walk up that communion line to receive him, we better believe that it's him. And in order to do that, we need to trust, we need to pray, and we need to just totally turn ourselves over and let God work in us, because he has so much love for us. And he's shown that to me in this most recent struggle that I'm going through, that he loves me big, and that gives me a lot of confidence. And I just want to scream it. People need to know how much God loves them, and you may not feel it, but maybe that's you letting go of yourself and pursuing him a little.